Looks like Ukraine's back on the menu, boys. Failed entrepreneur, make crappy videos every day. Subscribe so you can argue with me. Joe Biden in the Ukraine is back. We'll see how this progresses. This is not good news for Joe Biden. If you remember, nobody remembers, it seems like ages ago, Joe Biden was in some hot water during Trump's own Ukraine impeachment scandal, because the whole reason Trump was impeached was basically for doing the same crime, a supposed crime, the same naughty thing that Joe Biden was doing. Trump called up the president of the Ukraine and hinted or suggested that he might withhold, I think it was $391 million in like military aid to Ukraine if they would not investigate, or he would give them the money if they would investigate some corrupt things that Joe Biden was doing as vice president. The money was released anyways. He got no commitments from the Ukraine, nothing really tangibly, no dots, or I guess really could be connected from it. It didn't, obviously Trump was not impeached. However, and this was the big hypocrisy during the whole thing, is that some people forgot that, Joe Biden was basically accused of doing the same thing, maybe even worse than what Trump did when he was vice president. Biden personally, a couple times, wanted to withhold $1 billion from the Ukraine on condition that they would fire a prosecutor who happened to be investigating Burmisa, the big oil gas Ukrainian company that keeps coming up. Get this guy off the Burmisa case, and then I will give you $1 billion. He even bragged about it at some kind of press conference. There's video of that you could find easily, where Biden basically was bragging about quid pro quo. Pretty quo Joe, I guess you could say. Same exact thing that Trump was accused of. I guess Biden wasn't in office, or the Democrats didn't care, or whatever. You can still impeach people after they've left office. So, the focus is on Trump. He's in office, of course. But never really was a good answer to, or good explanation why Biden's corruptness was okay and permissible, while Trump's was impeachable. Anyway, we had our impeachment trial here in the United States. Only second time someone's actually been impeached, third time someone's been impeached. Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and now Donald Trump. But he was acquitted, and life back to normal, and we don't even really think about it anymore. The political consequences of impeachment seem to have been few and nil. So, who cares? I mean, Bill Clinton came out of it stronger after he was done, and, maybe Trump will see, Corona throws a wrench into everything. However, the Ukraine is a second party in this, and the Ukraine was doing their own investigations. They had their own version, I guess you could say, of the Mueller investigation going on into this. And I think just the other day, the Ukraine side released or leaked or whatever a bunch of phone calls, multiple phone calls between Joe Biden and the prime minister, the president of Ukraine, a guy named Poroshenko. And as you listen to these conversations, it's a little interesting. There's a little more things we didn't quite know. First of all, this is all, again, coming as a result of Ukraine's investigation into their own side of this scandal, because Poroshenko is not in office anymore, and he was a pretty corrupt guy, and so the Ukrainians are trying to see what their leaders were doing to fleece them. Poor Ukraine. They're like the tennis ball of politics for some reason. It's great content. So anyway, on these phone calls, you can hear Biden talking about, and there's multiple phone calls. It's probably a good hour of 3 or 4 minute phone calls here. But in the beginning, Biden's talking to Poroshenko, and again saying that, hey, the $1 billion has to go, or that this investigator has to go before you can get the $1 billion. It ain't going to happen, right? Second phone call. This is the most interesting part to me. This is kind of, I mean, we knew he was doing this. We knew his son was involved. We'll get back to that. But on the second, I think, phone call, Poroshenko talks to Biden and says, I got good news and I got bad news, right? The good news is that this investigator guy, Shrenko, my Ukrainian's not very good, the guy you wanted to resign or to leave, we looked. We found no corruption in this guy's files. There is nothing we can find to get rid of this guy. He's done nothing wrong. He seems to be a good guy. I mean, they looked, right? I mean, it's Ukraine. You could probably find dirt on anybody in Ukraine pretty easily, right? The president of the Ukraine is saying, we looked. There's no dirt on this guy. There's no grounds for us to dismiss him from this Burmesa case. However, I still asked him for you, $1 billion you, and after like an hour or two, he agreed and gave me the written resignation. This is the president of the Ukraine saying, I fired someone on no grounds except that Joe Biden wanted him gone. Okay, so that's a little bit new to me at least, right? Another phone call comes back. Joe Biden hears about this. In his own words, I'm a man of my word. So you did what I asked you to do, and now I will give you the $1 billion, right? And Joe Biden, again, blatantly admitting, you help me, now I will help you. Again, is that not quid pro quo? This for that? Is not? Well, what is then? I have no idea. So, that is, again, the gist of the phone calls. And again, we knew a lot of this before, but to actually hear it, and Trump got in trouble for, I think, like one phone call, right? And they released the transcripts of it. Did they ever release the voice recordings? Maybe they did. I can't remember. And remember, there was all this is coming back. There was the little White House staffer guy who intercepted the call, and he felt it was who's the vendor man, or who's the guy whose name we can't say? I can't remember, the leaker. Remember that? And this was all so long ago. So he's the one who kind of brought this all to everyone's attention. But I guess everyone in the Biden White House or Obama's White House had no problem with the multiple phone calls that was going on, and this is just fine as business as usual. Now I know you're saying failed entrepreneur, don't you be a hypocrite now too, because if Trump was okay with doing this, then Biden's okay, and this is politics in the United States, and we just don't give money to anybody for free, right? It's sticks and carrots, everything's conditional, and I agree, totally agree, right? Trump as president, it's in the country's best interest to make sure that if we are giving aid to countries, that they are acting in American interests, and there's a lot of nations we give money to who don't seem to be, which never makes sense. So I'm totally fine with withholding funds and my money from countries that don't like my nation or don't help my nation back. It's totally okay, And if Biden was doing that, that would be within his power. That would be part of his job. No problem there. The problem is, this prosecutor was investigating one big company, this Burmesa oil company, that for whatever reason, Biden, and this is also in the tapes, Biden is very interested. Biden is very motivated that this is no good. Why does the vice president of the United States care about a natural gas or oil company in the Ukraine, right? What does he care? What does the vice president of the United States care about a prosecutor in the Ukraine, right? Why does Biden have a hard-on for this? Well, of course, right? It's because his son is part of this company, and he was a board member, doesn't even speak Ukrainian, has no oil or natural gas experience, but he got paid a lot of money to be on this, and money that goes into his pockets. The tapes also suggest or say that a lot of that $1 billion went into companies owned by the president of the Ukraine, Poroshenko. So in some way, Biden and the president are both dipping into this $1 billion honeypot and getting money possibly that way, or at least that some of that money is going into Biden's family. Some of that money is going into Poroshenko's family. I don't think Trump's Ukrainian money was going into any of his hotels. I don't think so, right? So again, whatever the reason, Vice President of the United States has a hard-on for Burmesa, has a hard-on for this prosecutor who's investigating it. Multiple times calls to lean on the president of the Ukraine to fire this guy. The president of the Ukraine says, this guy's clean. He's done nothing wrong. There's no reason for me to, but I will still do it. And then you got Biden all on tape. Hey, I'm a man of my word. You did what I asked. You helped me. And now I will help you and clear the $1 billion so we can all take a portion of it. Am I getting that right? Is that not scandalous? Is that not impeachable? Maybe. I don't know. I know the Democrats, like I said, had a hard-on for anything quid pro quo about a year ago. I wonder how excited they get going after corruption now. If these tapes even hit the mainstream, very doubtful that the news will even cover this, I would imagine, in the corona world we live in. But this is not good for Joe Biden's campaign, I would say, if it gets any traction. And then we will see how the Ukraine investigation continues, because I don't think this is the end of what they're doing. But it's interesting. So I'll leave the links in here if you want to go and listen to Quid Pro Quo Joe's phone calls and how excited he gets, and just these guys. I guess this is how you fleece nations, right? This is how politicians get all that money into their pockets. This is why their net wealth always increases in office. You spend my money, your money, taxpayer money on these corrupt deals under corrupt conditions, and then this is old news. I know this always happens, but to just kind of hear it, right? Hear one of these deals go down. I mean, only thing missing in here is the cigar smoke heavy in the room, right? I mean, this is pretty unbelievable, and it's all out there on the internet. And this guy's currently running for president, maybe even using some of this money from the $1 million to help personally fund his campaign. I have no idea, right? But anyway, want to give you a heads up, get you in the know. We'll see if the media picks this up. I doubt it. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting till the election. But this is kind of a big deal that all the phone conversations were leaked, and they're just so... It's not a good look. Like I said, not a good look. And just reinforces the absolute corruption that goes on in politics. And, if Trump got his hand slapped for what he did, Joe Biden at least deserves the same scrutiny. But, fair play and legality, all that, that's long gone. I understand, but I'm just saying. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? All right, hey, failed entrepreneur, check out the links. Tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. I got things to do today. I know you do too. I'll catch you later. Bye.